this is the bargaining power of suppliers. Suppliers which are supplying you raw materials and machinery and many other things. What is their bargaining power? What is the bargaining power of buyers? How much less they want? There will always be some new entry competitors coming. That's another force. And the biggest force is threat of substitutes. Okay. You may have a pen, there can be a pencil. Okay. You may have a laptop, there can be an iPad. There will be substitutes always meeting that need. So these are all different tools, and there are a set of dozens of strategy tools. I just gave you a few of them, and we need all this. But very important thing I just wanted to mention, this comes from all the way from one of the gurus called M.B.A. Whatever you plan really doesn't happen. Only some part of it happens, which is called relay strategy. Many part of your plan goes unrealized. But when you keep on doing the strategy planning as a regular process, you will be emerging with some new strategies. Okay. How to correct and then move. That's what is the final relay strategy. The actual strategy is not directly the plan strategy. You have a plan, some parts gets happen, some doesn't happen. Then you go correct yourself. So these kind of things, remember. The next important aspect is the business model canvas. Given long time back by Alexander and Vignan. Okay, excellent. They want to put anything and everything about the business on one page. Okay. Here, we talk about the customer. Which customer are we dealing with? Is it American customer, Indian customer, or young customer, old customer, high value customer, low value customer, different types of customer segmentation. What is the value proposition that you are giving to the customer? What kind of relationship you are dealing with the customer? At the organization level, what are your key resources? Who are your key resources? Who are your key partners? What are your key activities? Channels. Who is distributing your material, your products, taking to the customer? Who are the channels which is giving you the resources? As we have seen in the 5 forces. And the other two most important thing is what is your cost structure and what is your revenue stream. How are you getting revenue? Many online portals get revenue through advertisements. Some get revenue through percentage of the profit. But what is the revenue stream? So these aspects is what is called capital. Here is an example, okay, of one of the companies which is called Postmates. I'll just explain this example because this is very important in terms of your. What is the value proposition? Postmates business model is similar to the way you have your today you have your Swiggy and Zomato kind of doorstep delivery within an hour. What is the value proposition for a partner? Get additional orders. For the couriers, they need not, they do delivery of anything. Okay. Who are the key partners? Stores and restaurants and couriers. What are the key activities of the company? What are the key resources? How are they maintaining the relationship with the customer? Social media, feedback system, customer service. What are the customer segments? Everyone with no time for shopping. Very important element they have identified. Literally doesn't mean that no time. People have time, but they may be lazy to go out and shop. So you'll get it delivered to the home. And those who want fast delivery. Now, when this is your main aspect of the business, what is your cost structure? What is the salaries you pay to the staff? What are the payments you do to the couriers? What are the technical development you need to do? What kind of website you need to have? What kind of a portal you need to have? What are your revenue streams? Who is paying for you? Some portion comes from the customer, some portion comes from subscription. And you also get a commission from partners. These are all different revenue streams. So this is what a business model canvas is. As I've said, you need to put this together. Along with business strategy and business model canvas, you need to assess your business risk. The notion is, higher the reward, deterministic, calculated risk. Higher the reward, higher the return. Risk can be qualitative, quantitative. General risk is the probability of impact. There is a full-fledged separate session on risk assessment and risk analysis. I just want to keep it at the higher level to you to understand that this is important when you convert Suddenly government has put something, some industrial regulation has happened, or the new entrants are coming in. The risk can be at your company level also. Your CEO has resigned, or somebody has done some fraud, something has happened. All these are risks, you need to do this assessment. Now let's go back to the customer aspect, the other three. See, in this 10 things, I've covered these three for now. I'll now quickly take you to the other six. Okay? On the customer side, first and foremost, you understand what your customer wants. This is the toughest question in business. There are methods you can talk to different people, figure out what it is, but what the customer needs is very rare to know. But the moment you get that, half the problem is solved. Research shows that the customer needs are so much, and a combination of many things. There will be hundreds of needs, and on the right side, which you see, these are the common ones. The most important ones are about a dozen and a half, 17 of them. Okay. Price seems to be the most fundamental for the customer. Some customers talk about functionality, reliability. It need not be in the same order, but these are all. I will not read out the list. This will be there for you. You can drop in an email, I can send you more details. For commodity items, you are selling the same item which is there. Your success drivers would be competitive pricing, convenience, and delivery. If you focus on these three major things, bulk of your problem is solved. But if you're creating a new product or a service, you have to pay attention on everything and anything which is about the nature of the product, users, what people satisfy, and what is the unique value proposition. This is an economic concept, and most of you are engineers, I can see it's very easy for you to understand. This is what is called customer value proposition. This is called break-even analysis. For anything you produce, there is something called a fixed cost, and there is a variable cost. Engineers, you understand very quickly, this is the graph of a fixed cost, and here is the purple line is the graph, sorry, the other line is the graph of the variable cost. Together is your total cost. Fixed cost plus variable cost per unit. And this is what is the revenue stream. At this point, on the x-axis you have quantity, which is called quantity produced or quantity sold, the number of units sold, is this break-even point. At this point, you overcome your fixed cost per unit and the variable cost per unit. So always your business should try to move into this. Okay. So this is a fundamental concept from economics, which is called the break-even analysis. Now, taking it to the business, we need what is called a value proposition to the customer. The entire cost, you see the picture on the right side, includes cost of capital per unit. And along with that, all the fixed cost, variable cost, and also the cost of capital, which you have borrowed the money. All together is the cost. You want to make some profit, obviously. So this orange picture section is your sale price. If this is the selling price, and this is the cost price, this orange is the band for your profit. The profit is the price. The profit is the difference between the sale price and the cost price. Now, always businesses should try to put a value in the mind. The utility concept tells here, what is the customer willing to pay? I'll give you a simple example. Suppose you have produced something which is costing you $80 per unit, and you want to make a $20 profit, and you kept the price at $100. But you know the customer is willing to pay more than that. Simple example is petrol. The customer is willing to pay 110 rupees for whatever reason it is. You can price the petrol at 110. No problem. This 10 rupees extra is an additional margin which you keep. This is the customer's perspective. They don't mind paying that. Be it an iPad, be it the food that is delivered at home, or be it the dress that you are purchasing, there is always a value which the customer gives his or her brain. Same thing corporate customers do. So this is what is called the value proposition. Real businessman tries to increase this one, the V. Now I am going to the third section, which is organization, which is relatively simple, and because for 2 years in M.B.A you study and then organizations. These are the different types of activities they do. By design, this has to be designed that they want to have self-selection by customer, they want to have a modular furniture, they want to have a self-driven, customer-driven, and the low price. Key point here is what are the dependencies on each other? What are the interdependencies? So you prepare your activity map when you're into the organization. This is what are the key activities that you're doing, where you're doing, who are your partners. Another big thing is coming from a strategy background. Michael Porter has given what is called value chain. If you're producing something, most likely, you have to deal with inbound logistics, operations within the organization, you have outbound logistics, you have sales and marketing and services. These are all called primary activities. Support activities, your firm's infrastructure, human resource management, technology, procurement, these are called support. You have to add value both to your organization and to the customer in every aspect of the value chain. Then ultimately it goes to profit. Each of them contributes to your profit, which in turn gives you a competitive advantage. That's what is the basic fundamental concept here of value chain analysis. There is a huge amount of experience is needed to do this. Specialists are there to do the value chain analysis, and the approach will be different whether it is a service organization or whether it is a manufacturing organization. But it's important for you to understand that you take help from someone to understand what is the value chain analysis. If you think you're not adding value on, say, for example, inbound logistics, outsource them. If you are adding value to sales and marketing, keep it with you. Or if you think somebody can add better value, take their services. So this is how you need to do to get your entire value proposition. Now, business fit, which is actually called the strategic fit. I'll give you a first concept about strategic fit. It's about how the company's objectives, right from the beginning of your vision, everything. What are the strategies that you've adopted? Your resources. Need not be only physical resources, but human resources, your competencies, your capabilities, your patents, everything is your resources, and the activities, and the entire value chain. They all have to interact with each other and the reinforce. You would actually get a strategic fit, and then a competitive advantage and a sustainable competitive advantage. When all of them together, tie up as mutually supportive, because competitors cannot compete when your entire thing is fit. First of all, at the activity level, everything there has to be fit. Now you are going to fit this along with the strategy. You have to fit this along with the entire value chain. Okay. So that's what we call it as a business fit. That as a strategic fit. We call all things as a strategic fit when all elements of your business are put together. I believe to get a business fit, there has to be a strategic fit of everything, and there has to be a financial viability. To do financial viability, you have three financial statements which are commonly used: the balance sheet, the cash flow statement, and the income statement. Balance sheet is a statement of an organization at a point of time. What are its assets, what are its liabilities. Always you need to have a positive balance sheet, or you should try to strive towards that. Income statement is about the income that's coming and the expenditure that you're making, what are the taxation that is happening, and what are the net profits. Most important in business is the cash flow statement. You may have a very good balance sheet, you may have income, and you may get profits, but if there is no cash flow, cash inflow statement and cash outflow, if there is no steady inflow of cash and so on, then businesses go for it. So you need to look into this. All these together are the financial viability part. I believe there are certain other sessions about financials as well. So this will come into that. Now coming back to the simplest thing. In 6th standard itself we studied profit is revenue minus cost. Your goal should be to increase the profit, increase the revenue, and decrease the cost. Value chain analysis helps you decrease the cost. Your revenue will increase when there is a strategic fit. Your business model canvas will help you how to put this together. So this is how you will actually have a profitable company. Just having profits is not sufficient. You need to grow as well. So there is an absolute necessity to grow your profits, grow your revenue streams, reduce your costs. When you're putting all this together, you have seen the business side, the strategy, the business model, risk and reward. Customer needs, products and services which are offered to the customer, and the value proposition which I use it with the diagnostic. At the organizational level, the activity map, the value chain analysis, and the business fit. These are all the 9 things, and when you add the revenue stream to it, the revenue model, it becomes what is called a business plan. The objective of business design is to prepare a business plan. The business plan is the output. You need to write down everything. You need not share everything with your investors, but definitely with you and your top management team, you need to have full clarity. What is your business plan? You have to design your business so that you get a plan. That's the essence of this particular session. Now, there are certain definitions of what a business plan is as well. I'll just show it to you. Yeah. This is a business plan. It's a strategic roadmap for the firm, right from its objectives and how it plans to achieve its goals. It captures the opportunities, describes the products or services, the value proposition, business model, what is the target market, what are the customer segments around it, what are your financials, what kind of resources do it, what is the value chain having, what are your operations, anything and everything related to your business and your customer and your organization. You put them together, it's called the business plan. Well, that's the summary of today's session. I just wanted to maintain the time. We have another 3 minutes. So let me just summarize the entire business design, which is converting the innovation into value proposition. You take it the 3-dimensional view. Engineers are very used to the 3-dimensional vectors. If I do analytics around it, I will do a 3-dimensional vector analysis, where one dimension is the business dimension, another dimension is the customer dimension, third dimension is the organization dimension. In the business dimension, there may be tens of things. I've picked the top 3 things, which is the business strategy. Starts from your vision, goals, strategic goals, and everything there. The business model canvas helped us identify how to put everything together. When you also take an element of risk and reward, you can do a lot of quantitative assessment of risk and reward. You can assess the risks, you can put a value to it, and the impact is probability into risk. At the same time, you should also look at the reward. What reward you are getting, what reward you are sharing with your shareholders, what kind of reward you are sharing with your partners. Everything has to be thought in your business model. Customer comes first, they say, but I prefer to put business because it's your business. Customer is always there. You just need to attract. If your business is good, customer comes to you. You need to understand the customer needs. What are your products and services? What is the customer value proposition? Now you're going to run an organization. You need to have an activity map. You need to have a value chain analysis. Have a business fit. Now, many things are there. You need to talk about human resources, you need to talk about financials, you need to talk about marketing, you need to talk about the IT strategy around it, what kind of digital transformation you're going to do, anything and everything in the processes. Organization is a very big bucket. I just put the 3 or 4 things that will help us directly link to the topic, which is value proposition business. Do not think that only these 3 is the organization. There will be at least a dozen of things in the organization. Okay. But I just picked the top 3 which are essential for value proposition business. And again, from a customer angle, many things are there in customer. I just picked the top 3 from the customer side. On the business side also, many things will be there. Here also I just picked the top 3. Because ultimate goal is we need to put them together to get our profits. We need to increase this. We need to grow our profits. We need to increase our revenue stream. So that's the essence of it. So feel free to share your thoughts. If you have anything to add, please add. If you feel there's anything good that I've shared, please build on that. Okay. And if you have any questions, we will take that up as well. Okay. Thanks a lot, and I think I'm done with the session for now. And if you want, you can always drop in an email. My email ID is Srinivas.xlri. That's where I did my doctorate from. As I did, I'm a double master's, an M.B.A and an M.S. And I prefer to do the doctorate on the management side. Though I associate a lot with the engineering side because my master's is in US. I'm a core engineer, but I specialize into the M.B.A and the management side because engineering has to That's where it is. My email ID is srinivas.xlra@gmail.com. I'm more into strategy, innovation, and leadership, and a whole deal of management consulting and engineering. Ma'am, over to you.
Yes, now the session is open for queries. Anyone who is interested to ask questions can ask to the speaker.
And anybody likes to add something to what I said also, please feel free to add. I see a lot of professors are there, a lot of young minds are there who definitely can add a lot. Feel free, it is a joint learning for all of us. Anything specifically you want me to address, a little bit more detail, I can do that.
The session is open for questions. Participants can ask questions to the speaker.
ఏంటి లెంత్ రేట్
Sir, shall we conclude? I think everyone is nothing,
Okay.
sir. Everyone is telling us they don't have any questions. I feel
Fair
that
enough.
they have understood with your PPT.
Well, if not, I'll just do a quick recap of everything in the 5-10 minutes for the benefit of everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The topic of the day is about converting innovation to value proposition. Innovation is turning the idea into a solution. It's a process. We looked at the 10 types of innovation, and we wanted to prepare the business plan for which we have to think ahead in the backward stream. We looked at the business, customer, organization. In the business strategy, we looked at vision. We need to have a clear mission statement. These are some examples to look at them so that we are impressed. And strategy is a very big subject, but just for the purpose of the fundamental level, I picked up what strategy is and what is normally advantage. And as I said, there are several tools. We looked at SWOT, what is 5 forces and PESTO, and noting that every strategy doesn't really turn into it's not realized, it's only part of it. We prepare a business model canvas which looks into all aspects of a business. It helps you in business planning. An example of that, we address the risk and reward. Risk is a probability impact. When we address at the customer level, we try to understand what is the customer need, what are the different types of needs, and how do we convert that into value proposition. We have taken some knowledge from economics, and we have looked at the break-even analysis, and we understood the concept of utility and value, and then tried to put the customer value into it. Now when we switch our gear into the organization side, we looked at the activities, different activities to map. A similar example is there on Southwest Airlines, our village organization out. Value chain analysis, Michael Porter's very one of the strongest contributions. You need to add value in every element of the value chain. Then you will be actually taking the competitive advantage of the system. And most importantly, everything together, all the 9 years have to fit. They have to fit with respect to the objectives, strategies, resources. And the entire thing also has to fit with the financials because you need to make profits. So which actually goes along with the cash flow statement. And when you put everything together, it becomes a business plan.
very much, sir. Now, I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Srinivas who gave such an informative session on the topic converting innovation into value proposition. I am also thankful to the Office of the Lead Research and Consultancy, NIT Andhra Pradesh, for giving a platform to explore about innovation. I am ever thankful to the management of NIT Andhra Pradesh for always encouraging and supporting for such sessions to take place in our institute. My humble thanks to the Web and Network Department of NIT Andhra Pradesh for rendering the YouTube live stream and publicity support. Last but not the least, I am also thankful to the participants who made up to join this event without fail. Thank you one and all. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. Now we can discuss. We can